Good evening, and welcome to AFN Signal's Rewind. This is a show where we look back at the stories from the past week. Like death and taxes, moving is a part of life, especially in the military. But no matter how many times you do it, there are always potential pitfalls. Producer Juliana Dunn caught up with a few experts to answer some of Signal's most asked questions.
Life in the military has its challenges, like moving every few years. No matter where you live or how many times they've done it, moving can be a daunting experience.
It's time to move out, and although the process may seem easy enough, a member of the housing department tells us a little more about what to expect on moving day.
Well, if they're living out on the economy, typically they would need to make sure that they don't take out any receipts of any sort of payments, whether they be rental payments or utilities payments.
While serving in Europe, many people take advantage of the opportunity to accumulate a few pieces of the local culture.
Like wine. However, the Customs Program Manager says to keep these facts in mind when choosing to ship this popular European product.
The regulations for shipping wine are approximately 30 bottles is the minimum. There is no maximum number of bottles. You can't have 10 bottles of beer, 10 bottles of alcohol, 10 bottles of wine. So you can mix and match. It doesn't all have to be wine.
Wine isn't the only thing that service members find themselves taking home these days. With all the furry companions ready to be adopted, who can forget about our feline friends? Signal's Army Vet Services gives us a few tips on how to make taking your pet with you a little easier.
Well, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your pet's vaccinations are up to date. We do recommend that the animals leaving the island have a leash test to make sure that they haven't contracted that disease while they're here, because it's not a disease that they're familiar with in the States.
Inspections, inventories, pack-outs. It can sometimes be an overwhelming process. However, with the right attitude and a little bit of help, you can PCS with confidence and a fond memory of your tour in Europe.
Being a high school student can be challenging enough for most teenagers. But what about the ones that go an extra step and become student athletes? Producer Vivian Shepard shows us that these athletes are learning more than just the fundamentals of the game.
It may seem simple enough. They're students who play sports. They balance studying with practicing, and in order to keep playing, they have to keep at least a 2.0 grade point average. But these athletes are learning more than how to play the game every time they take the court.
It's a threefold thing for me. It's mind, body, and spirit. Mind is, it's a thinking man's game, not only just basketball, but almost every sport. You got to think about what you're doing. Body, obviously, for the physical aspect of it. Keep your body in tune, keep it healthy. And then spirit, recovery from bad game, bad day, bad shot, all that stuff.
It's not just the adults that watch these students grow season after season that think that sports benefits them.
By being a student athlete, you're able to set goals for yourself and hopefully know that if you think positive, that you'll always think ahead and know you'll make it.
For basketball sponsor Ross Brand, being a part of team sports is something he would encourage any student to try.
You know, I never played sports as a kid. I don't know if I just didn't take the chance or whatever, but I missed a lot. These guys get quite a bit of stuff. The camaraderie, the development as human beings with the mind, body, spirit, the threefold thing. I just think athletics, along with their academics, as long as they're studying, as long as they're keeping their grades up, athletics really helps them be a well-rounded individual. They learn a lot of things from that.
So being a student athlete isn't as simple as it might first appear. It's more than just the balance of academics and athletics. It's the balance of life and learning. Petty Officer Vivian Shepard, Sigonella, Italy.
You can support some of those student athletes by attending the Jaguars basketball games tomorrow, January 23rd, and Saturday, the 24th. The battle against Aviano begins with girls basketball at 5 p.m., and the boys take the court immediately afterward. On Saturday, the girls face off at 9 a.m. with the boys' game following. All basketball games are in the high school gymnasium. We wrap up tonight's show with a look at an event that marks a historic day in American history. We went out into the community to see what Signalans thought about the inauguration of President Barack Obama.
The whole inauguration, it's very good. I think the Navy's going to change in about a year. It's going to be a whole different thing. Pay-wise, it's a very good thing.
I think today's inauguration is a milestone in U.S. history, and it's something that will be remembered in U.S. history forever.
As a class, we've been talking about it all day. We've been talking about it since the presidential election last week. I think it's a very historical, wonderful moment. Students are excited. I'm excited.
I think it's a pretty historical event, and I think it shows that our country's come a long way.
You can watch tonight's stories and more on our website at afneurope.net. Be sure to click on Sigonella. And that's it for this edition of Rewind. I'm Petty Officer Tiffany Stricklin. Thanks for watching.